On the morning of June the 2nd, at 4:30, we were standing in Gorky Park, on a piece of land which was not surrounded by any fence or a sign saying that construction is underway or anything like that, when people in black started to walk towards us. They had neither name tags nor IDs. I was standing in the first row watching what was happening. We had seen them before, that's why we tried to block their way to the place of the future construction, because we knew why they'd come here, to create access for woodcutters to carry out illegal woodcutting. These people came up and we asked them once again, just as before, to show their IDs, which they flatly refused to do. They always said something rude, such as, "I don't have to show anything to anybody." So, we didn't know who they were, but they were definitely going to do something. They were organized, you could see it. They moved suddenly towards us, pushing us back and throwing us aside. Some people were hit in the stomach. I saw it, but unfortunately it wasn't caught on video. The police ignored the cries for help. They were just watching what is going on, but didn't get involved in any way. Sometimes even turned away. There was also a man who threatened everyone with a saw. They used force against everybody, young people, girls, elderly people, indiscriminately.
The man in charge of this police detail, Alexander Felixovich Barannikov, was the only one of the policemen who introduced himself and produced his ID. He endlessly repeated a demand to leave the so-called building site and called our unwillingness to do so a gross resistance. At the same time, we knew that it wasn't a building site, as the red and white tape which they used to separate the building area is not the right kind of fencing. Instead of it, they had to put up a fence of lightweight dismountable structure. Secondly, according to the decision of the Cabinet of Ministers number 1104 of the 30th of September 2009, there must be a stand of not less than 1.5 meters in length and not less than 1 meter in width, on which they have to put up a building license and permits.
Я требую, чтобы вы покинули территорию стройплощадки.
Товарищ полковник,
это представляет опасность жизни, вашей жизни, нахождения на стройплощадке. Я еще раз говорю, покиньте территорию строительной площадки.
Товарищ полковник,
я требую.
Да что же вы дарите?
Отойди.
Меня только что побили ногами. Куда вы смотрите?
Остановите. Покажи человека, который побил. Посмотрите.
Главный командир вот этих товарищей, который раздает приказы. Он меня повалил, били многие.
Стройплощадка. Вы слышите меня? Вот туда, зайдите в сторонку, пожалуйста.
Это не
вас тоже это касается.
А их это не касается.
Вас тоже это касается.
Меня это не касается.
Их это не касается. Почему вы бездействуете?
Смотри, ну посмотрите.
Потому что вы защищаете.
Ребята, посмотрите, что делают.
Там людей бьют, пожалуйста,
подойдите туда.
Отойдите со своей площадки. Я говорю, покиньте территорию.
Подойдите, пожалуйста. У исполнителей нет документов на проведение здесь работ. Где эти
Я говорю,
документы?
покиньте территорию своей площадки. Вы меня слышите? Что ты, блядь, опора?
Спокойно. Убери, блядь, этот аппарат.
Покиньте территорию, отойдите в сторонку туда, в лагерь туда
Где
отойдите.
видно, что это стройплощадка? Она не обозначена ничем.
Я вам говорю, как должностное лицо, что
Как
на территории
должностное лицо,
стройплощадки.
остановите
Понимаете?
преступление.
Вы меня слышите?
Остановите
Я слышу вас, я вас
преступление.
понимаю.
Вы только что сделали заявление,
Здесь
что
происходят
избили.
уголовные
Должностное
преступления.
лицо.
Здесь люди с бензопилами нападали на людей.
Сейчас пилят дерево, которое стоит и угрожает жизни одного из альпинистов, который сидит на соседнем дереве.
Now they are sawing a tree which threatens the life of a climber as he is sitting on a nearby tree. People are doing what they can to stop it. Now you see me trying to cover the tree with my body to prevent it from being cut. I am rudely pushed away from it.
От этого дерева. И в конце концов это дерево все-таки падает, травмируя человека.
And finally, the tree falls, injuring a man, a climber, sitting on a neighboring tree. This man miraculously escaped death.
We started to chant, "Murderers," to which one of the municipal security men simply burst out laughing.
One of the tree defenders found herself in hospital with a hypertension stroke. When the ambulance arrived to take her to hospital, by the way, they came from the side of Novgorodskaya Street, they didn't even bother to come up and bring a stretcher for this woman, who we were afraid to move without a doctor's examination. We had to call the paramedics, come up to them, and ask them to bring a stretcher. We've just seen a man in black hit a park defender. Now we see one of the attackers throw stones at a man.
When I was moving from a tree which they'd already started sawing to another tree which was still intact, they continued to saw while I was still between the trees.
It happened all the time. They threw us aside without looking where we may fall. They were not fastidious in their choice of words, told some of us to go to hell, swore at us, called us different insulting names. One man said, "Look at yourselves, you aren't riffraff, you aren't activists, you are a bunch of sexual minorities."